One of mine and Terry's favorite sayings is find a better spot or make your spot better. Well, what are the things you can do to make your spot better? Well, you can add water, you can potentially thicken up your grasses with warm season grasses, you can use fire as a prescribed fire burn to go in and thicken up cover, enhance and generate new growth, or you can go in and potentially, if it's a mature timber, do some TSI or timber stand improvement. That's exactly what we're going to focus in on today. We're going to get out of the studio and into a timber block and see how we can make that spot a little bit better.
This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by RTP Outdoors, home of the groundbreaking Groundbreaker 3-in-1 food plot implement.
You know, deer hunting has really become a 365 days a year process. And here we are, February 23rd. The season's in the rearview mirror. The next season's out in front of us. And what can we do to enhance things, make them a little better? Well, we're going to do some TSI, timber stand improvement. We're going to do it in a method, though, that enhances not only the cover, but we want to talk more about where we're enhancing that cover. It's one thing to go in and cut a block of timber. It's another thing to do what we talk about food plot architecture. I'm going to talk about TSI architecture. Look at the overall block. Where's your access at? Where do you want them bedding at? Where do you want to hunt your stand inside of that cover for the rut? Where do you want to hunt on the outsides? We're going to try and create bedding that enhances daylight activity as they approach the food source. We're also going to try and increase cover in and around where we like to hunt during the rut in the timber. So it's a little bit twofold, or it's several facets to it really. We'll go in and start looking at some of these areas, and then we're going to start cutting some trees down. But we're going to do it wisely. We're going to go into Onyx, look at the overall map setup, and decide where we want the bedrooms and where we think they're going to come from when we're out there hunting them on the outskirts, as well as where we're going to hunt during the rut. So let's go have some fun. So here's a great example. We're down here in one of the areas that we want to turn into a Mecca bedroom. One of the reasons we want to do that is because the food plot, where they generally show up first on this farm, is above me here about 150 yards. I can't see the blind, so it's a perfect place to start the bedroom so that when I do approach that blind, they're not so close they see you coming in, they'll be down in this area. So I like that distance, anywhere from 80 yards to 200 yards. That seems to be the optimum place to create a bedroom so that they ultimately give you daylight activity when they get to the food plot. If the bed's too far, they're too late getting there. If the bed's too close, they might see you approaching. So we're going to give this tree a better chance to survive, grow to maturity, and we're going to take out all of these junk trees, creating an unbelievable bedroom down in here. Another thing we're going to be mindful of when we create this bedroom is to put it somewhere that we never put our wind over. So if you look at a map and you plan all of these type of strategies out, you can really enhance your overall hunting experience. We're going to show you what it's like where the light's hitting the ground now versus over here where there is no light hitting the ground, and the difference. So here's a dead ash tree. It let light hit this bottom ground. This is what we want to turn this entire bottom into. We're going to cut it now here during the winter so that it has the entire sun of spring and summer. This bottom's going to turn into this throughout all of it over the next few years, and it's going to be an incredible bedroom. If you look at this bottom area, this is what we have currently. It's already good. We've got some decent bedding down here, but we're about to turn this 8 to 10 acres of bottom timber into a thicket that looks like that. What we're going to do is enhance the bedding. We're very close to my main food plot, so it should be incredible once it's all done. But we'll do it wisely, and we'll do it over a period of a few years. We're going to create little brush piles within, and then we're going to let the sunlight hit, see how it looks. Next year, come back, do a little bit more. Following year, do a little bit more. By doing it in stages, you constantly have new growth coming up, and it gives them the browse that they want at different levels. One thing to remember about a white-tailed deer, they make their living from 5 feet down. So you always want to have a lot of new regrowth coming on, and think about it in terms of this. Do I have a lot of plants that are 5 foot or shorter? That's the goal. I think the moral of this story is always have a plan. I think I spend as much time or more time looking at maps, actually hunting the place, observing deer movement before I ever start a chainsaw or do any of the steps that go along with TSI. I want to know where those deer generally bed, where they like to move, and then I try to enhance existing patterns as opposed to creating new ones. I think that's always the best bet, making that spot just a little bit better. Hopefully you enjoyed this TSI. Time will tell whether we made the right steps, but I have a good feeling that this fall it's going to be increased activity on that particular plot. I can't wait.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by onX Hunt, the nation's #1 GPS hunting app.